Story 1. Strange Visions. We've all seen things, right? I've seen little black things out of the corner of my eye, following me on my way to school. But I didn't think they were real. Just figments of my imagination. Dredged up from reading too many horror books, right? And then one night, I saw something in plain sight. Though it looked like a black cat, I knew we had no black cats in the house. It ran across my mother's room, under her bed, but it never came back out. Ever. Every now and then, I would just get this feeling. Like the night wasn't the friendliest place to be in. And when I did, I would get indoors as fast as I could. Into the light and away from the shadows. When I was very young, I remember waking up to a white figure floating above my bed. More comical looking and friendly than scary. And with one blink, it was gone. But all of this was many years ago. As I moved out of one house and into another, everything stopped for a while. But then, I would get that feeling that something was in my room. Footsteps would fall on my plush carpet, with no feet to leave them. My stereo would come on for no reason. And then, just as mysteriously, turn off again. When I moved to college, everything was peaceful once again. But one night, hanging out in my girlfriend's backyard, I saw what I thought was one of her sisters hiding in her dad's big truck. Her sisters have done that before. It seems strange that one of them would have such a maniacal smile on her face. We went inside, only to find that all of her sisters had been inside the whole time. And then that same feeling hit me again. The night was not to be ventured into again. I filed all this away, dismissing it as an overactive imagination. But now they came back. My wife has class in the morning, and I'm sleeping in. I often wake up to find a female shape at the foot of the bed, sometimes very similar looking to my wife. Sometimes an all-black form with stringy hair. Once it appeared to be holding a decapitated head. More recently, I looked into our living room from another room, and I thought I saw my wife laying on the floor, smiling up at me. But my wife was at work that night. Last night, I got a phone call from my friend. It was 2 a.m. Both of us are night owls, so that wasn't surprising. But the whole time we talked, I could feel somebody looking over my shoulder. A presence beyond normal senses. We could move to another house, to another place. But would it really help? Story 2. Haunted Cemetery. While in high school, a few of us got together and started spending time visiting haunted places in the area. 2 of us are now telling others what we have seen. There's this old cemetery in the nearby town. It's the only place that all of us agree is truly haunted. To clarify things, there were about 30 friends involved. However, we will not discuss what they claim to have happened while we were not there, because we do not know for certain for ourselves that it happened. I'll tell you a few things that happened to us personally over the last 3 years. The first time we went to this place was Halloween night. Corny, I know, but hey. One of us went into the cemetery, while the other waited in the car with a friend. While in the cemetery, she didn't see anything. However, she smelled an overpowering odor that smelled like death. She also said that she felt death in the air. It does not seem out of the ordinary, true, but never since have we smelled anything like that in this cemetery or others. While she was in the cemetery, the ones in the car saw a man. He was in a cluster of trees, and he looked like he was wearing red clown robes. Not much happened to her after that. However, I went back many times. I witnessed a ghostly fog that followed me and a few other friends. I've heard voices that came from nobody. I've seen shadowy figures that followed us around. I've seen people in my group take on a change of sorts in their personality and sometimes their physical appearance. I know it all sounds crazy, but there's too many of us to have witnessed strange things to not have an opinion that this is truly a haunted cemetery. Story 3. Beth. None of my experiences are really intense. There are several things that I've seen and heard that are definitely more than real. I was born in a tiny town. It grew up as a railroad and mining town. Our house was built on the edge of town. The original builder liked his privacy. While everyone in town took him out to be a bachelor that spent most of his time in the rail yards, it became apparent when the old man died that he did in fact have a son. The son moved in and raised a family there, also working in the rail yard. The family produced 2 sons. 10 tops of the family were found in my bedroom closet when we were remodeling the house. One of these sons went on to have a son and a daughter. It was this son's daughter that greeted me not long after we moved into the house. It didn't help that she had almost died 30 years before I was born. Through the back door, across the old linoleum floor, to the staircase, in the room at the top, I lay snug in my little bed. I'd been playing earlier the day, and had left an old music box, found in the room when we moved in, open on my dresser. My parents were downstairs, enjoying their television, when suddenly they heard me screaming. I had rolled over, disturbed by something in my sleep. I couldn't quite explain, and sat up. My music box, completely unwound when I'd gone to bed, was playing cheerily. But that wasn't what woke me up. It was the figure of a girl standing next to my bed, gazing out my bedroom window into the backyard. My first thought was that she was lovely. Long, blonde hair, a pale blue dress, hands clasped behind her, with a slightly sad air about her. It changed quickly, however. When she turned to look at me, instead of disappearing, she advanced on me, hands outstretched, her face changing from benevolent to cruel in a heartbeat. My mother sprinted up the stairs with more energy than I've ever seen. This would not be the last time I would see this ghostly figure, though, after this first encounter, each visit was absolutely benevolent. A few years later, we, the family and I, began remodeling the house. tearing out walls, finding pieces of the house that we had not counted on finding. In one of the walls, the remains of a burnt-out chimney. In the other, we also found a death certificate. It seems we finally had a name for our ghost. Beth. The cause of death was too blurred to read. We realized, too, that my music box must have been hers, and she must be somehow tied to it. Since remodeling, I've not seen her. I have a sinking feeling that I won't see her again. Strange. I feel as though I've lost a friend. Thanks for listening. I hope you enjoyed the stories. If you did, give me a thumbs up, hit the subscribe button, and leave me a comment down below. I would love to hear from you. I would love to hear your stories. Bye.